letter and identifying references. If the individual doesn't have references, then what we do is we encourage them to participate in our work readiness program or to volunteer in the community so they can obtain some references.
Now, is there a charge involved?
There is no charge for any of our services, whether it's for an employer and the customers. There's no fee at all.
So how are you funded?
We are funded through OMH, Office of Mental Health, as well as VR state funds and through the county.
Now, what are some of the misconceptions someone may have about hiring someone with a disability?
People often fear that people with a disability may miss work. They don't want to show up. They're kind of lackadaisy about work. Whereas with us, our individuals do not have to go to work if they don't want to. And they want to go to work, so they are all gung-ho. They're ready to work, and they actually give 110% of what they can do.
Mm-hmm. So how are you different from other employment agencies?
Well, with our supported employment program, the employment specialist goes on site with the individual and they train. Whatever the individual's job is, the employment specialist is trained with the individual. Whatever the individual needs to wear for their job, that's what the employment specialist wears as well. They don't stand out. They don't wear any flashy red suits or anything, letting them know, they're an employment specialist. Only the boss knows that they're an employment specialist. And then once the person has the job down, then the employment specialist starts to fade away. But if a problem occurs, something happens, the employer customer definitely will call the employment specialist or myself, and we would be out there to make sure it's taken care of.
So the employment specialist stays with that person on the job site?
Yes.
For how long?
They stay with the person intensively for a week or two, or as long as the person needs them to be there to learn the task.
Okay. And if there's an employer listening right now, why should they hire someone with a disability?
Well, they would like to hire someone from ACE Employment Services because we're thebomb.com.
Right.
Our employment specialists actually go on site with the individual. They're getting a 2-for-1 deal. They're paying our employer, and they are not paying our employment specialist, and the employment specialist is learning the task just like the individual is learning. And so this way, if our individual is having a difficult time learning a task, our employment specialist can help them to learn that task so the employer can take care of other aspects of their business.
Okay, so you're thebomb.com.
We're thebomb.com,
Okay.
Yes we are.
So ACE is the acronym for what?
Assisted Competitive Employment.
Okay, I like that very much. Yes. Now, housing is a big issue, so if someone needed housing, is there a waiting list, and what is the criteria?
Housing has to go through Erie County. It's a SPOA application that they need to have filled out, and then the county deciphers where the individual goes, or whoever's making the referral can specify housing solution through Restoration Society. And our housing specialists work with the individuals. They meet with them within 72 hours of receiving the referral to find them temporary housing and then permanent housing.
Okay, so do they actually find the housing for the individual and take them to it and see if they would like it? Or?
Yes, they actually work with the individual to find out what area, what neighborhood they would like to live in, and they help them find suitable housing in that area that they feel comfortable in.
Mm-hmm. And so I gather you do work with landlords?
The housing program does work with landlords. They meet with them, they talk with them. The staff is on call 24/7 usually, and the landlord can call at any time if there's an issue. They can call the housing specialist.
So what is the criteria for the landlord themselves?
Just be open with people with mental health conditions, that they're not bad people. They're very good tenants to have.
Yeah. Now, you talked a little bit about families, helping families. How do you help families?
Our family support program actually assists people navigate through the family courts. We help them with custody and child support payments. Some of our individuals, as you know, with mental health conditions, they're kind of the stigma's still there that, they can't raise children. So our staff actually goes to court with them to fight for their rights. So they can either have joint custody of their children. We start off maybe with supervised visits. Then the person would have unsupervised visits, and then they may have joint custody of their child. And with child support payments, it's a little trickier, I guess. It's based on the person's income of, how much they have to pay.
Yeah. Can you share any success stories with us?
With our supporter or with our employment program, we have too many success stories to talk about. Your show's not long enough.
Oh, great.
One that stands out in particular is one of our individuals did have, or he was institutionalized most of his life. He would find a job, lose a job after a couple days, find a job, lose a job. He came to our supportive employment program, met with the employment specialist. The employment specialist showed him how to dress for an interview. They would do mock interviews. The person was hired. The employment specialist went on site, and the person has been working for over 4 months now.
Wow, good for them.
Yes.
So how do you match up your customers with the employer?
The customer is totally involved in all aspects of the finding employment. They get to decide what kind of work they would like to do, where their interests are, what location they would like to work in, how many hours, if it's on a bus route. Our staff actually does mobility training with the person. They'll meet them at their residence and take the bus to and from work with them so they can learn the bus route.
So if someone is disabled, more than likely they are collecting SSI, would they lose their benefits if they start working?
We have a program that's called Ticket to Work. It's funded through Social Security Administration. If an individual is receiving SSI or SSDI for any disability, it does not need to be mental health conditions, they can come and see us. We're an employment network, and we will work with Social Security Administration or work with the individual because they want to work their way to get off their benefits. We did have a situation where a gentleman was working full-time and he had a heart attack. So he was afraid that, it's going to take forever to get his benefits back. But with Ticket to Work, what we do is we would make a call to Social Security Administration, and usually within an hour, or I'm sorry, usually within a month,
Okay.
the person would be reinstated their benefits. And that actually helped the family out, so this way they were able to focus on him recovering from his heart attack, and he is now back to work full-time and doing well.
Good, good, good. So tell me, do your customers need a referral? Can anyone call? And if so, what is the criteria?
Our customers, ACE Employment has an informational forum. The next one is January 19th at 327 Elm Street at 10 o'clock. And with that, we talk about the different employment programs that we offer, and we meet with the individual one-on-one to see which program meets their needs the best, and then we get the paperwork and the ball rolling for them to start for employment.
So do they need to register or just show up?
They can just show up,
Really?
or they could even just give us a call, and we can give them the basic information over the phone.
Wow. And the age group again is from what?
18 to 64.
Okay. Can you share another success stories with us in the housing department?
Oh, gosh.
And is there a waiting list these days?
Well, yes, there's probably a waiting list, but our housing program tries to get them in as quickly as possible. There are individuals who are always chronically homeless, and so our staff works with them. And the big thing is we work with the individual. It's all about the individual that we work with. We're focused on the individual receiving services. So if an individual wants to live in a certain area of town, that's where we're going to try to find the apartment. And they're more likely to be successful being in that area that they want to live in.
Now, you also mentioned how it started through volunteers. Do you still need volunteers?
We can always use volunteers at any of our sites. They can give me a call, and I can meet with them, and they can identify or decide where they would like to work or volunteer, or not work, but to volunteer with our agency.
Well, still kind of work,
Yes,
not just not getting
definitely.
paid
Yes.
for it. And so what is the criteria for the volunteer?
They need to be at least 18 years or older, and they can give me a call, and then we can get the ball rolling on getting them to come in to volunteer for any of our programs.
And so what are some of the things that they would do?
Whatever they decide. If they want to do clerical, they could do clerical. If they want to work hands-on with individuals, they can work hands-on with individuals for employment. They would have to go through a background check, a fingerprinting. So we do all that with them.
Yeah, there's a lot of people retiring, and everyone I know that's retiring, they volunteer or get another job. I'm like, so why did you even retire?
It's rewarding.
Without a doubt. Believe it or not, friend, we're coming down to the last minute and a half of the show.
Okay.
I really want to make sure you leave with the audience what you want them to know.
Okay. There's a couple things I'd like the audience to know. One of the things, if you were told that you cannot work by someone, give us a call at ACE Employment Services, and we can assure you we will help you find a job in the area you would like. Also, if you or someone you know is homeless or in jeopardy of losing their housing, give us a call and we'll direct you to the appropriate department to help you with housing. And if you are trying to navigate the family court system, give us a call and we will direct you to the appropriate program to assist you in that department.
All right. And I love what you said. You said you assure them that they will get a job. Do you have a website?
Yes, we do have a website. It's www.restoration-societyinc.org.
All right, so if you're looking for work, please give Fran a call. She said she will help you and give you a coach and walk you through and
Yes.
even help the family.
Yes.
Fran, thank you so very, very much
Thank you for
coming
having
out
me.
with us and sharing what you do, because what you do is so important. And many times we don't realize and things we take for granted until we lose them.
Yes,
All
definitely.
right, so I mean, I think your program is great.
Thank you.
All right, so I would encourage you to please give her a call. You know, employment these days in our area is pretty good, so give her a call. We thank you for joining us for another segment of the Public Report. Until next time, you and your family have a wonderful, wonderful day.
This has been Public Report. Public Report discusses the issues of interest and importance to our viewing area. Please remember that the views expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily represent the views of TCT or the station.